Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next installment of the Hubscale Podcast, where we delve into the minds of leaders within the cybersecurity space in product and tech. And today we've got Adnan on to really give an insight into, his journey and what he's been doing in more recent years. So, really happy to have you on today. And if you can give us a quick intro to yourself, Adnan, that'd be great.
Hi, Lloyd. Thanks. My name's Adnan Alvi. I've been in the tech industry for over 25 years. I've been working with some leaders in technology such as HP, Teradata, Epsilon Data, and most recently Saviynt, which is a security software provider. I've had the opportunity to work on both software products and software services. So I would say my career is maybe a third in services and two-thirds in product development.
Thanks for the intro there, and I know we've got some good topics and areas to sort of delve into today around what you've been doing. So I guess kind of going into it then around what you've been doing at the moment, and I guess more recently, can you let us a bit, know a bit more about that and yeah, kind of the key things really.
Yeah, I've been working on what I call scaling for the last 10 or so years. I've been working on a couple of areas. One is helping companies grow. This is the target where companies want to scale to a size that is 2 or 3x their current size in a very short period of time. So the example of Saviynt, which wanted to go from $100 million to $200 million in 2 years' time. And so here the opportunity was how to grow the R&D organizations, the technology functions, and to match the sales that we were seeing. The second one is about improving costs. So companies who are stable providers of software and services are looking at it and going, hey, I've been doing this for 5 years or 10 years. How do I get to a more efficient way of providing these software and services? And so scaling in my life over the last 10 or 12 years has been in these two areas, which is companies that are growing crazy, doubling in size, want to know how they can do that. Companies that are stable and looking to improve their margins or costs.
But no, that's a really good insight into that. And like you said, it's quite a big thing there with the scaling and trying to match the growth with the sales as well, as you said. So I guess to follow on from that, can you speak about the key architectures and yeah, lend themselves well in scaling the software part of the puzzle. So can you sort of delve into that a bit more, I guess, around that scaling point of view?
Yeah, of course, of course. So on the architecture side, there's been two areas that have been extremely supportive of scaling. One is the move towards the cloud, and the second one is the move towards services. So when we look at deployment platforms, if you go back 10, 15, 20 years, everybody had data centers, were doing capital expenses, buying equipment, putting it in their data center. Well, now we have the opportunity to perhaps do cloud only or cloud hybrid, which is you have your data center, you have the cloud, and what you do is build your solutions that have the elasticity on the cloud side of the house, and the stable compute needs and storage needs can stay in your data center. So the deployment platforms and the hardware platforms have come a long ways in supporting scalability. The second side of it is the software platforms. Software platforms have also grown perhaps even more than hardware, where there has been a move to software as a service. There has been a move to providing software that can be included and integrated with existing solutions. So between these two areas of progress, what we see is that not just the architecture for deployment and hardware has grown to support scaling, but also the software architectures have evolved where there is a consistency now between what we see in the marketplace. There's a consistency in service development and tools development that allow us to buy services as needed and include them as part of our solution.
That's great to hear the insight into the architectures themselves and how that works with the scaling, like you said as well. So no, thanks for the insights there as well. I guess leading on from that, Adnan, as well. What are the steps? What steps do you need to take in the R&D organization to successfully scale them for growth as well?
Yeah, R&D organizations can be defined differently in different companies. Some companies have all technology functions in R&D. When I look at R&D or talk about R&D, I mostly focus on two functions: the product management function and the product engineering function. So when we think about scaling purely on the R&D side, it's to look at the work of product management and to look at what engineering is delivering. Um, Most companies struggle in scaling because they have massive backlogs and workloads that product management has generated because there have been requests coming from customers, requests coming from the marketplace, new technology changes. So one of the things that we need to do as far as scaling is to standardize a solution. How do we get product management to focus on a core product that we now need to sell to twice as many customers? We need to deploy to twice as many customers. We need to scale support for twice as many customers. And to do that, we need to sort of pull back a little bit on how much we are building into that product in terms of change to the core product. If we are continuously changing the core product, we're going to have stability issues. And those stability issues are going to keep us from scaling, keep us from growing. So the product management organization has to take it to heart to say, my goal is that I'm going to standardize a solution. Going to try to offer the same answers to the questions from all of my customers, and I'm going to sell what is on the truck. I'm going to emphasize what I have today, how it meets the business needs, because it does meet the business need of all my customers today. How do I make it meet the business need of most of my customers tomorrow? The second side of it on the engineering side is engineering really needs to look at reliability, and reliability is core to scaling because every new customer that comes on board needs to be onboarded and sort of let fly. We cannot be holding customers' hands when we are growing very quickly, when we are growing at twice the pace. So what's important is that engineering provides a solution that is stable, that's reliable, that can be deployed, and it's a fire and forget mechanism. You go to the next customer, you go to the next customer, you go to the next customer. This way you ensure that engineering bandwidth is focused on growing the customer base versus supporting the existing customers. And then the other side is sometimes people do include customer-facing teams like support and CSMs as part of the R&D organization. And when they do that, it's important for us to really hire in customer-facing teams. This is probably the most important success factor in hiring to scale a company to twice its size is the customer-facing roles. The customer-facing roles will ensure that the stable, reliable product we have can be deployed and can be successful across all our customers. And once again, leave the engineering organizations to deploy, implement, and move forward, and leave the customer-facing organizations to ensure their operations are smooth for the new customers.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing the steps that you need to take, to successfully scale as well. And it's great insights that you've shared there, which could help others out there listening to this today as well, Adnan. So I guess that leads me on to the next question. So I guess with functionality, obviously must come the quality. So what can companies do basically to ensure high quality products are released to their customers?
Yeah, it's really important that I talk a little bit about stability and reliability. And really, the underlying thing around stability and reliability is a high quality product. But when we are scaling, it's not just the product. It's important to understand that every interaction the customer has with the company defines the quality of the company and thereby the quality of the product. That interaction that customers are having with the corporation, it could be the salespeople, it could be the CSMs, it could be the support teams. We need to ensure that there is high quality in every interaction. So quality is a function that is across the customer touch points, not just the software or the technical services we provide. The second thing about quality that is really important is that quality really starts with requirements. Quality really starts with what we are going to build. If we are not clear on what we are going to build, if we are not clear on what we are going to offer, and if we are not reduced it to a manageable size, what we are going to end up with is solutions that are 90% ready. And 90% ready solutions don't help you grow. 90% ready solutions are the ones that bog you down. So quality is critical to scaling because what it provides customers is a confidence that this company, in every interaction, values my feedback, values my business, and values how they are going to grow their business, but take care of the current customers. So there's always going to be a balancing act between innovation, which is what current customers want, because yes, they are interested in you growing as a company, but they're also interested in having a product that is innovating and changing, and balancing, making sure that you are not destabilizing the core product while you add innovation, because that core product is what you need to give to all the new customers coming on board at twice the speed of sound and perhaps the speed of light.
Yeah. No, that's great. Like you said, it's all about the quality at the end of the day. And, if companies are scaling, how can they get that right? And, you've covered a lot of points there and how they can do that, which is great. So yeah, I guess the next question, Adnan, is with the remote and hybrid, office working models these days, how can companies meet the needs of the customers and their employees from your point of view?
Yeah, this is a very interesting topic, and it is interesting because there are so many set viewpoints on it. There are new collaboration mechanism, new tools and technologies that allow us to be in remote locations. At the same time, there's a tradition of being in single office locations, being together, building company cultures, having hallway conversations. And so it's become a very difficult conversation these days on how to build a team. What's important for companies that are growing or are scaling for efficiency and cost is to think of themselves as having a global workforce. We cannot get away from the fact that when we need a certain skill set or a certain talent at a certain point in time, the best way to do it is open it up to anywhere in the world. If I can find the best person to do the job, I will bring them on board. So it's a function of speed more than anything else to have a global workforce. If you have infinite time to bring people on, train them, then of course you can be very localized. But the global workforce gives you the opportunity to bring people on at when you need them with the talent that you need and deploy them quickly to a fast growing company, to a fast growing organization. The model that seems to work pretty well is that hybrid model, that model of having teams that work closely together, be sort of put in localized time zones or put in areas where they can be working together as a pod. So what you're doing is not forcing the whole company to be in a single location or a handful of locations. What you're trying to do is to get teams to be co-located, and co-located to me is time. Co-location is not the physical geography, but the ability to be available and to be available to use the tools we have for collaboration. So I think as long as we can do that, look at the world as a global workforce that is available to us for everything we want to do, and look at it as building smaller pods of teams and people that can support each other, that can work together on adjacent time zones. They'll provide us majority of the benefits that we want from a global remote workforce, and it helps employees. We must always remember that there's two sides to the coin. The company and the customers need something, but to have high quality services and high quality products, we must have high quality employees. And to retain those high quality employees, we have to give them what they need to make their lives better. And I think this is we have a tremendous opportunity now with all the tools and processes in place to institute as much hybrid as we can.
Yeah. That was really good insights to the ways of working because like you said there, there's a lot of tools these days that can help with this, and it is good to have that collaboration side when you need it as well. But um, it's just finding the balance, right? Making sure that, like you said, the to get the high quality products, you're going to need the people doing that and the people that are behind it to be functioning the best so they can perform the best, which ultimately leads to the quality of the product. So, there's a lot of good points there that you've covered off, and I'm sure many people out there, will have a lot of to say around different areas of the remote working and hybrid working and what works best. And I know it is a big subject at the moment as well. So it's good to get your insight and how that would work and what your thoughts are as well. So, thank you for that. And yeah, it leads me nicely to, another question as well, which would be great to ask you today, Adnan. And yeah, this one's how does security feed into scalability concept? How do we react to vulnerabilities that may be introduced into our software, very quickly as well?
It's a very important point because security now is table stakes. Security isn't something that we say, oh, and we also offer it. No, if you don't offer it, you cease to exist as a viable option for the business. So the CISO's role has become more and more important. And the CISO role is actually the role that is ensuring that the product is built to be secure. The product is built and deployed as a hardened offering to our customers. The flip side of this is that any security issue that impacts your customers can actually end your business. It can be an existential crisis to your business. So it's very, very important to think of security first. And when we say think of security first, you almost have to start at the beginning, which is any piece of software that's built or any service that's built has the burden of proof on I am secure and I am ready for this world. I am ready for prime time. I'm ready to be put in production. So they must prove either through tools which are easily available, you have static analysis, dynamic analysis, um, and also the company needs to prove that the software as a whole is ready and hardened. So once we're building software, we go through the proof points of ensuring that it is a hardened piece of software. Once we have the package together, we need to ensure that we have penetration test results. But more importantly, where we are headed nowadays is to have in-house ethical hacking teams, to have what are termed as red teams. And to have security in your product isn't just us having other people try to hack into our product and see if it'll hold up or not. It's actually important for us to invest in that time and money. And you'll see more and more companies do that, that they have their own red teams that are the first ones to identify problems. Because one thing about security that's difficult is that you need to understand the product to be able to exploit vulnerabilities. And there are very few people that understand the product in any company or a customer suite. So you have to build this in-house team that understands the product well enough to know how to exploit any vulnerability. So security is table stakes. Security has to be built from the ground up. You cannot put out a piece of software that hasn't been ratified and verified by the organization to be a hardened piece of software. And you need to ensure that you have teams in-house that are doing everything that any nefarious actor would be doing to ensure that you are the first to know if you have any security issues.
Yeah, well, that's great. Really good insights to, like you said, the vulnerability side and what you need to do to, make sure that it's secure from the get-go, really, from the scale, then you can scale up. So, really great to have that insight from you, Adnan. And yeah, no, we've got a couple more questions to kind of get through as well. But thanks so far for brilliant insights into what you've been doing and with the scalability of the software and everything along that side. So yeah, I guess the last couple of questions then. I guess this is a key one at the moment. But how can we help scale customer support teams? I guess. And what are the specific challenges and opportunities that present within that?
Yes, it's a really important point because I believe that the customer's experience with the product is the everyday experience they have with the support teams, with the operations teams. Uh, the people that have purchased the products, made the decision, are already out of the picture. Now it is the people that are using the product on a daily basis and interacting with our company, interacting with our support teams. For scaling, the one area where you must hire and build up teams is the support area, because this is an area that you will get a high speed of new incoming customers that are perhaps not well trained, perhaps well not equipped. There'll be a customer segment that is new to the product and requires a lot more hand-holding. So one area, if you look at the R&D area, you want to make sure that you have a stable product that is managed in scope. But when you look at the support teams, you need to have an area where you have more and more people available to provide that white glove service, to be available for the customers, and to help them through whatever change they're going through, and not to say that I am moving so quickly, building out my company, building out my business, growing out my company, that I don't have time for you once you've bought the product. That's a dangerous approach, because that approach will be in the market really quickly and it'll slow down, it'll put the brakes on any growth. So the area that we want to scale up is on support. And support, when I look at it, I think about it, is really a function of speed and quality. So support is really where people say, did you resolve my issue? And did you resolve it in a timely manner? That's all they want at the end of the day. Everything else is details, but what they want is speed and a high quality resolution. And to provide those things, we have to take a few different strategies. One is we need to ensure that we can quickly get the issue to the right person in our company. And the term I use sometimes is the strategic depth, so that the support team has access to engineering, access to product management, quick, fast access, so they can get the right person to solve the problem. And the second area is to provide self-service opportunities for customers. So good companies that are trying to scale are trying to build self-service options of knowledge base. This is where AI is playing a big role these days, which is access to self-service for the customers. You get the service when you want it, you get the service at the best level of quality, and you get the service on all time zones. And so building a good knowledge base using AI technologies to improve the results of the knowledge base are key. And so when you talk about scaling in terms of support, the best help is self-help. And so we need to make sure that there are tools and technologies available. There are ways that engage people so that they can get the answers to their problems. And when those tools and technologies fail, there's somebody right behind them. There's somebody right behind them to pick up the pieces and help the person who started with self-service, but knows that when self-service doesn't work, I'll have a person supporting me. So those are really the things to think about in support. You must increase your hiring in support or customer-facing organizations if you're growing. You must provide speed and quality to customers, and which means that the support team has access to everybody, all the knowledge resources. You provide self-service to the support teams, and you always remember that these are the everyday operations are what are going to define the quality of your customer's experience with your product.
Yeah, perfect. So it's important that, to make sure that the foundations of the customer support teams are there, like you said, well before and after the products as well, to ensure that it's running the way it should be, and giving that support to their customer base. So, no, really great insight there, Adnan, and thanks for again providing a good analysis of that side. I guess we've got one last question for the podcast today. And yeah, I guess the final question, message, I guess, uh, what message would you have for the executive leadership team as well?
Yeah, well, scaling, my message to the leadership team would be that think of scaling as technology and people. You need to balance both, and you need to balance both in all functions of the company. Your marketing team may need new people and new skills. Your sales team will need new people and new skills. Your R&D teams may need to change. So think of it as it's not just build more software, deploy software faster. It is to ensure that the ecosystem that your software exists in is growing. What they can do for the product itself is try to support the product teams and the engineering teams in holding to a roadmap. And what this does is ensures that those teams are putting out a product that is stable, reliable, and standardized, so that when we go out to sell them, they have a product that they can rely on, the customers can rely on, and they know that once they deploy and implement for a customer, the customer is successful and can be put in the rearview mirror. So for executive teams, really the two messages are think of scaling as technology and people, and to make them successful, make sure whatever roadmap you define, you hold to that roadmap. The worst thing you can do is, as new customers come in, continuously change how to support them, what to offer them, when to offer them, how to customize it for them. That is the dangerous part of scaling to 100% white glove, is to say, okay, the only way I will be successful in onboarding every customer is if I am custom to them. And that's a dangerous strategy, because that actually slows down our ability to grow. Thanks.
Perfect. And thanks for the final answer there. And like you said, what the message would be to the leadership team from a scale point of view. So yeah, no, really great to have you on today, Adnan. And like you said, you've shared some really interesting points there around scaling the software and all different parts of it as well, and the journey throughout, and sharing some of your experience as well today. So I hope people out there that are listening to the podcast today really I've took some value away from what you've done, because you've got loads of experience in this, and you've done some really great things. So it's good to hear that from you, and, sharing that with other people as well. And, hopefully they can take away something from that. I'm sure you'll get some messages maybe along the way as well. So I know you might, want to mention something as well. Is there something you want to finishing up on, anything interesting that you've been doing, I guess, or you want to share?
Yeah, thank you for the podcast, and everybody, thanks for listening. This topic has been coming up so frequently that I've been working on a book to put it all down on paper, so that people can benefit from it. It can hopefully start some innovative thinking in the areas of scalability and growth. The book should be out shortly, and I look forward to having people read it.
Yeah, perfect. No, really looking forward to it as well. And I know you've put some, great effort into that as well. And what we'll do, I guess, further down the line, once it is available and things like that, we can share it out there, and so you've got a reference to go and check it out. And really great thing that you're doing. So yeah, everyone go and check it out when it's available. But yeah, like I said, great to have you on today. And that concludes the podcast for today and the next installment. So yeah, thanks again, Adnan.